Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Thomas. You're watching an ABC 10 Plus recap of stories you may have missed. The NTSB released the initial report in that deadly Lake Tahoe boating accident in June. The latest on the tragedy that killed 8 people. Then in dollars and cents, from homelessness to hope, how a Sacramento woman is rebuilding her future through financial literacy. ABC 10 Plus recap starts now.
And we're learning new details tonight in the deadly Lake Tahoe boating accident just last month that killed a DoorDash executive and 7 of his family members and friends. ABC 10's Becca Habecker joins us live in studio with a look at the new report on the investigation that was just published hours ago.
Yeah, Alex, the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, released its preliminary report today on that June 21st incident. Among new details, we're learning a potentially fatal decision to head back into stormy waters after seeking shelter in Emerald Bay. A sudden, severe, and unexpected storm popped up over Lake Tahoe on Saturday, June 21st, as 37-year-old DoorDash executive Josh Pickles, pictured here with his wife, Jordan Sugar Carlsgard, was aboard a boat with family and friends. His wife and baby daughter had stayed on shore that day. On Wednesday, the NTSB released its preliminary report on what happened, saying 10 people were aboard a 28-foot, 12-seater, $400,000 Chris Craft Launch 28 GT. It was a beautiful, clear day when the party took off toward Emerald Bay near D.L. Bliss State Park, where they anchored for an hour or so. But then this severe storm hit the lake, and the boat's owner decided to try and go back to the marina. However, after getting underway, the winds, rain, and waves increased, and he decided to return to Emerald Bay. After about 10 minutes, the operator made a second attempt to return to the marina. According to one of the 2 survivors, that's when the boat encountered marble-sized hail and waves 8 to 10 feet high. At one point, a particularly large wave overtook the boat. Shortly after, the boat rolled over to starboard and the passengers entered the water. The survivor recalled that it started snowing after the boat rolled over while the people were in the water.
Cold water shock can cause involuntary gasping. So if somebody accidentally ended up in the water unintentionally, this could cause things like loss of muscle control and other things that make it impossible to swim and stay afloat.
Melissa Miranda is boating education and outreach manager with California State Parks. She encourages all boaters to wear life jackets.
If you're wearing a life jacket and end up in cold water, your chances of survival are going to be better.
One of the 2 survivors was wearing a life jacket. The other was clutching one. They were rescued by a hiker and State Parks lifeguard. In response to the NTSB report, a spokesperson for Josh Pickles' family sent ABC 10 a statement saying, "The NTSB report confirms the deep tragedy of this accident, which claimed the lives of Josh Pickles, his father, mother, uncle, and friends. Jordan Sugar Carlsgard is profoundly thankful for the rescue efforts made by so many first responders and Good Samaritans in this tragic situation." As for boating safety on Lake Tahoe, Justin McHenry, aquatic specialist with State Parks, says keep in mind the water temperature.
Despite a summer day, it might be 80, 90 degrees of the air temp. The water temperature in Tahoe rarely exceeds like 65, even in the warmest of the fall months. When you're approaching water recreation, you need to do so with the water temperature in mind, having appropriate layers and the appropriate way to warm up folks that were in the water when they come back aboard.
State law requires anyone under 13 to wear a life jacket. And new this year, State Park says anyone operating a motorboat in California is required to have their California Boater Card. That takes successfully passing an approved safe boating course, then applying for the card and paying a one-time $10 fee. More info at californiaboatercard.com. Alex.
We start tonight with new concerns about workplace safety after a new state audit finds Cal OSHA staffing shortages led to the agency skipping in-person inspections.
Yeah, ABC 10's Austin Castro spoke to state leaders and labor advocates who are now calling for change to protect California workers. So Austin, talk about what the audit reveals.
And Laura, with that audit, it showed that Cal OSHA is under-inspecting workplaces after accidents and injuries because they don't have enough inspectors. The Employee Safety Agency claimed they are taking steps to address these issues, but others I spoke with say it's simply not enough. The state agency responsible for enforcing workplace safety in California, Cal OSHA, is falling dangerously short according to a new state audit. The audit comes after a 2024 hearing on farm worker safety.
some of the stories that came out of that hearing were shocking and surprising and disappointing, and I wanted answers.
State Assembly member Liz Ortega requested the audit, which found Cal OSHA did not inspect some complaints and accidents, despite evidence an inspection may have better protected workers. According to the report, auditors chose to inspect by letter, having the employer inspect alleged hazards themselves.
Stop with the fake letters and the fake investigations, because when there's no consequence, there will continue to be risk.
In a statement to ABC10, Cal OSHA tells us in part, quote, prior to this report, Cal OSHA had already begun the important work of modernizing and improving our operations. This includes replacing outdated manual systems with new technology, initiating revisions to existing policies, and establishing new ones to support both intermediate and long-term improvements in enforcement. The topic of workplace safety comes amid Cal OSHA's investigation into the deadly Esparto fireworks explosion. Former Cal OSHA worker Garrett Brown tells me many of these findings don't surprise him.
The working people of California are not receiving the protections they deserve under law. And we can see this, unfortunately, in comparison to other states on the West Coast.
The state audit says Cal OSHA had a 40% vacancy rate in late 2024, higher than the 20% vacancy rate for state government positions. However, the agency itself says it's reduced the overall vacancy rate to 12%. Farm worker advocates like Luis Magana continue to demand change.
It's not just the lack of budget or funding, it's the lack of communication. And we need to improve that to have better conditions for everybody in the fields or the working place.
Now, Cal OSHA, for their part, says they are working to make it easier to file complaints and expand its presence across the state. Still, state auditors are calling for increased protections and stronger oversight and enforcement efforts. Chris and Laura.
Happening right now in Roseville. A popular girls softball tournament is back, bringing in more than $1 million of economic impact for Placer Valley.
Yeah, almost 40 teams will compete for the USA Softball Western B National Championship. It goes through Sunday. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias is live at the Maidu Regional Park in Roseville.
Roxanne, it sounds like a lot of fun. Tell us why this tournament is so important for our region.
Well, Laura, the best of Region 10 is here with teams coming in from Arizona, Hawaii, all around California. And not only are all those thousands of people coming out here to play some ball, but they're also coming out here to spend the big bucks. It's the first day of the USA Softball's Western B National Championship in Roseville.
2, 4, 6, 8, and we appreciate it.
Our girls have been working hard all season long for this.
The 10 Under Girls Tournament is bringing in almost 2,500 people into the area, including athletes, coaches, and their fans. They're competing at Mahaney Park and Maidu Regional Park for a chance at the World Series-like title.
It's all about having fun.
That fun extends to the surrounding areas beyond the softball fields. Kim Summers, the CEO of Placer Valley Tourism, says the 6-day tournament allows for visitors to book about 500 rooms for a stay in their 25 hotels.
They only have maybe 2 games a day, so when they're not playing out on the field, they're going to be out at, Quarry Park Adventures, maybe zip lining, hitting some balls over at Topgolf, or probably really where we were finding these girls is at the Westfield Galleria, shopping in between games or afterwards.
They also enjoy the restaurants and many other amenities, bringing in overall about $1 million in economic impact for the region. Organizers say they try to keep the local businesses in mind and also involve local vendors during the event.
We have Just Print Inks here. They are a local shirt vendor. We brought them into this Nationals to support local businesses. We have a lemonade stand. We had a hair braider yesterday.
Just Printed Ink, a family-owned business, says the exposure helps to spread their name.
It definitely gives some sort of outreach to people, because we're in some warehouse in Roseville, you're not driving by and seeing us and being like, oh, okay, I need a t-shirt.
And whether a team wins or loses, everyone involved in the tournament says it's the memories they take home that keep them coming back.
The amazing community we have offers so much for them to go explore and do family activities and team bonding.
Now this tournament ends on Sunday with the championship awarded to one of these teams. They're so excited to get that championship. And now organizers are inviting everyone to come out here for some fun. They say everyone is invited, and the best part, it's free for people to join. I'm live in Roseville. Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
Looks like a pretty good game going there behind you as well, Roxanne. We do thank you for that live update.
In tonight's Dollars and Cents, the power of financial literacy. You can change your life by learning more about your money. That's what a group of women in Sacramento are trying to do as they overcome hard times and build their confidence through financial independence.
I was actually homeless for a very, very long time, about 13 years. And I just, had a long line of addiction. So I, went into a rehab, and I actually came here, and I've just changed my life ever since.
26-year-old Ashley King from Del Paso Heights now works part-time as a restaurant cashier and is working to complete her high school diploma this fall.
I love English, I love reading, and I like writing. My new hobby is writing poems.
She's also taking financial literacy classes at City of Refuge, a nonprofit in Oak Park providing housing and support for women and children.
They're being trafficked by a pimp, they're stuck in addiction, abuse, lots and lots of things. And so with that, you're stuck in cycles of poverty, cycles of brokenness, and our job is to really just create a space for them to begin to imagine that life can be different.
Women like Ashley are able to learn from financial experts with Safe Credit Union how to open up bank accounts and other basic skills to help them manage their money.
I love saving to go to the ocean. Another thing is I would love to save for just a down payment on an apartment.
The free courses are part of a pilot program between City of Refuge and Safe Credit Union, which is also sponsoring their housing needs thanks to a $20,000 grant. Participants will get financial coaching, workshops, and a chance to open a bank account, all on site.
You can go get a job, but if you don't know how to use what's in your hands, you're not going to know how to spend it.
Financial literacy and financial education are really the backbone of economic success. We really want to break down those barriers and provide resources and education that are going to help them build their financial future and eventually establish long-term success.
According to the FDIC, in 2023, nearly 6 million U.S. households were unbanked, meaning no one in the household had a checking or savings account. The unbanked rate is even higher among lower income, less educated, and single-parent households.
Financial literacy helps build confidence because it lets you take control of your money. It allows you to invest, manage your debt, and then, hopefully pass that on to future generations.
The women are learning various topics financial experts say everyone should learn, like learning how to budget, building and repairing credit, and establishing an emergency savings.
Tell me about some of the challenges that you've overcome to get to where you are right now. It sounds like you are succeeding and thriving. It's really great.
I've never really found a place to plant my feet. But now that I feel, planted, sturdy, that's where the motivation comes from. To okay, you know what? This is a chance, and I'm going to take it.
According to Fidelity, only 50% of Americans say they understand basic financial principles, and only about half say they have at least $1,000 in their savings accounts. Experts say when you are financially literate, you'll get better at saving money, avoiding debt, and planning for retirement. Don't forget, you can watch more of My Dollars and Cents coverage streaming right now on the free ABC10 Plus TV streaming app. You can also email me your questions at lpainter@abc10.com. Let's bring in Brendan now. Another beautiful day in July.
Yeah, very nice weather day in July. A couple things that we are watching, some thunderstorms in the high country, but otherwise, temperature-wise, onshore wind, it all has been just absolutely fantastic. Of course, nothing in the valley to speak of other than a few clouds at times. Most of the activities along 395 on the eastern slope. However, just within the last few minutes, starting to see a little bit of a stronger storm up here near Truckee that is producing some lightning. It's really the only thunderstorm out there at the moment, but tomorrow and Friday going to be a different story when it comes
comes to thunderstorms. More on that in a minute. 82 right now in Sacramento, 84 Stockton, 86 Manteca, 84 in Modesto, 80 in Jackson, 77 Truckee, 74 in South Lake Tahoe. Similar temperatures to this time yesterday, just a little bit warmer by about 2 or 3 degrees across most of the valley. 82 as we look at downtown Sacramento. Some clouds off in the distance. That's about 3 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. Winds out of the southwest at 15 miles per hour. Mid-70s by 8 o'clock, mid-60s by 10 o'clock, low 60s as we work past midnight. And we're going to start Thursday morning off in those mid to upper 50s. Cool, mostly clear. We'll keep a bit of that onshore wind through the overnight as well. So not much difference in the overnight and early morning temperatures compared to what we've had the last few days. Still in the 60s by the time we get to 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, then in the 70s, mid-70s for lunchtime, low 80s at 2 o'clock. We'll top out right around 83 degrees tomorrow afternoon. Very, very similar to what we saw today, remaining about 10 degrees cooler than normal across much of the valley. Closer to 90 in places like Marysville, Oroville, and Colusa tomorrow, but 83 Sacramento, 85 in Elk Grove, 84 Stockton, 86 in Modesto, 80 in Placerville, 78 Truckee, 73 South Lake Tahoe, and you see the thunderstorm icon there as well. That is something we're going to be watching pretty closely the next few days because the National Weather Service's Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma is watching the Northeast Plateau and the Northern Sierra for scattered dry lightning tomorrow. That's going to be the area of highest concern. However, across the entirety of the Central and Northern Sierra up near Shasta and the coastal range as well, we're going to see some isolated dry lightning. So here's Futurecast. Here's what we're going to be paying attention to as we head into tomorrow. Through the early part of the day, some clouds across the valley. No activity till we get towards about 1 or 2 o'clock tomorrow, and you'll start to see some showers popping up just south of US 50, pushing into the Tahoe Basin by the time we get towards 3 o'clock. But look at the stronger thunderstorms up north of Susanville, closer to Modoc, right along 395. That's where we're going to see the strongest storms tomorrow, which is why that's where the region of highest concern is up there for dry lightning. But you still notice thunderstorms down near Quincy and Plumas County. You also see some thunderstorms late at night. This is 1 o'clock in the morning. We see some wraparound thunderstorms coming back into the Tahoe region. And then on Friday, it's basically repeat with some widespread thunderstorms once again from Tahoe all the way up to the Northeast Plateau. So Thursday afternoon and Friday afternoon, we're going to be watching pretty close for those thunderstorms and new fire starts. Be weather and fire ready, right? Storm and fire ready. That means make sure that go bag is packed, but also hike early, be off the peaks by noon so you're avoiding those prime thunderstorm hours in the afternoon and the lightning. 83 tomorrow, then 82 as we head into the weekend. Normal July temperatures to start next week in the 90s, then we cool off as we head into August.
Okay, Brendan, thank you. Well, guess what? Another football season is almost here. As a matter of fact, training camp started today.
Already? Wow. ABC 10's Kevin John spent the day with the 49ers as they start preparations for what they hope will be a bounce-back season.
Hey there, Chris and Laura, and welcome to Santa Clara for day one of 49ers training camp. Now, usually every year around this time, there's some drama heading into camp, whether it's holdouts or other issues. But I must say, today, everything was pretty much drama-free. Hundreds of fans came out today to get their look at the San Francisco 49ers as the team prepares for yet another season. And let's address the elephant in the room. Juwan Jennings was at practice today and was a full participant. Now, over the last couple of weeks, it was reported that Jennings was either seeking a new contract or requesting a trade. Well, if that was the only drama for the Niners coming into camp this year, I would say things are pretty good.
We know Juwan and Juwan knows us. I think the other way makes it harder. I don't really compare things to other years and other people. People have plans. It's a business plan. It's usually a plan between a player and agent, and I see it happen all over the league. It's happened with us, and it's something that I try not to get too worked up about because there's not always much I can do about it.
Drama is from the outside. There's really no drama. It's just, it's just work. Everybody's here. We're all friends. There's no drama.
Jennings was the most productive wideout for the 49ers last season, so his presence is something that elevates his teammates.
Juwan was awesome today. Great energy in the locker room yesterday, great energy today, his normal self. So just appreciate him attacking it like there's nothing going on.
See, Jennings just wanted to show up and play football like the rest of them. No drama at all.
No drama? Well, we like to hear. Kevin, thank you. To get more 49ers coverage and news, go to the ABC10 Plus TV streaming app. You can find the latest Locked On 49ers episode under the Sports tab. The ABC10 Plus streaming app is free to download to your TV.
Are you looking for something to do this Friday? How about the Sophia Theater in Sacramento? Going to feature some of the region's best storytellers on its historic stage. ABC 10's Marcus Allen, you've found some compelling people this morning, I'd say.
Yeah, good morning to you, Walt. I know I'm preaching to the choir because you know much about the B Street Theater and more specifically the Sophia. Look, if you're entertaining people from out of town, take a look inside. This is a beautiful showcase, really a world-class destination experience. And this weekend, it's going to be quite amazing. Specifically Friday, the show is called In a Nutshell. Compelling speakers like this guy. If you'll join us back here live, meet my new friend of the last couple of hours, Max Houghton. Max, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
All right, so Max, you're one of the speakers, and I'm going to have you tell your story, but I'll let you know what I know thus far. You're former law enforcement, then you did some crime, you did some time, you were incarcerated. During your incarceration, you made a choice, and that becomes the subject of your experience that you share on stage. What was that choice?
Well, I had a real hard time keeping my mouth shut, and that got me into some trouble. And so I took a vow of silence, and I decided I wasn't going to say anything for 6 months. It turned into 8. And when I closed my mouth and opened my ears, I started learning things that I never would have believed I could learn.
That's amazing. So imagine, if you will, taking the better part of a year off speaking. And what are other ways that it changed you?
I learned that people have a lot more in common than we think. We're all more alike than we are different, and if we take the time to get to know people a little bit, we can find out all kinds of things about ourselves too.
Yeah, so his story is truly unique, but some of the things that got you there could have happened to anybody. During the opioid crisis, you fell victim to that. You injured yourself on the job, you became addicted to opioids. You probably didn't see down the road in your lifetime that you were going to be holding up an armed robber, essentially.
Yeah, I didn't get hurt on the job. I got hurt on a horse at home, but it didn't matter. I was still hurt, and at the time the protocol was just take these pills and everything will be better. And it didn't get better, and I got hopelessly addicted to that stuff, and it took incarceration to get me off of it.
And from what I've heard about your show, the bulk of your show is really you telling other people's stories that you met while you were in there, people that otherwise wouldn't have a voice.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are never going to get out of there, and they have stories to tell, and those stories maybe are some of the most important stories that we need to hear, because we need to figure out how to keep people out of there.
And also, this might not be the thing, like on a Friday night, you might not think this would be the kind of thing, but your story truly is also entertaining and compelling and a great night out.
Thank you. And there are other storytellers coming that are funny, and I try to be a little bit funny when I tell my stories, but it's a very serious story, and so it's kind of hard to do that. But come and see the other storytellers. They have jokes and stories to tell, and it's going to be a great time.
Awesome. Yeah, I would pay to see you talk, and I've learned so much from you just this morning. So, Max, one of the storytellers, In a Nutshell, is the name of the show. In a Nutshell is Friday night, the Sophia Theater, home of the B Street Theater, but this weekend, make it In a Nutshell. Back to you, Walt.
You know, you visited with Max earlier. He's so compelling, has such command. We ought to send him to Washington, D.C., let him spend a month with some people there and try to fix some stuff. But Mark, I'm glad we had a chance to meet with Max today. Hopefully folks will go to a show. All right.
Thanks for watching this ABC10 Plus recap. We are here 24/7 on the free ABC10 Plus TV streaming app. You can get your local news and weather anytime, anywhere. I'm Chris Thomas. We'll see you next time.
We are in day 1 of a weather impact alert.
Tracking a couple big weather impacts, including a red flag warning and big heat developing.
Heavy rain continues. I hear it on the roof right now.
We're already seeing the impact of the storm.
We're planning for those changes.
Triple-digit heat leading to cancellations and concerns.
Stay fire ready.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on ABC 10 Plus.